In this video, I'm going to be tier listing the 16 teams in the RLCS Copenhagen Major. So the way this tier list is going to work is I'm going to be ranking teams on based how I think they are performing going into the major. Not how I think that they'll do, that will be in predictions, but how I think whether they're favourites, like what chances they have in the major, is how I'm going to be ranking these teams. We've got S tier for the teams that are the dominant favourites, who are expected to either win or perform very, very well. We've got A tier, who are not the complete favourites, but still can definitely win the thing, and you wouldn't be surprised if they do win. B tier are for teams that have got an outside chance of winning, but are still expected to perform reasonably. C tier is for teams that don't really have a chance at winning, in my opinion. No one really respects them to win, but are teams that can still perform decently as well. And D tier is for teams that have got absolutely no chance of winning, and for teams that aren't expected to do that well in the major. Before we get into this video, can I ask you to please subscribe? It's free, it's easy, it's super quick, and it really helps me out. So any support is appreciated. Alright, on to the video. Okay, without further ado, let's start the rankings. So, who to start with? We'll start with Limitless. They are D tier. I think that they'll be happy to... Honestly, I think a success for them would be getting a few games or some teams. I know they're going to be pushing for that series win. I think that will be the thing that will really satisfy them. Obviously, I don't think they'll have any chance of winning. Yeah, but if they can get a few games, I think it'll be a success for them. Okay, let's go on to another obvious one. We'll go to Karmine Corp. I mean, don't really have to spend too much time on them. They're the best team in the world right now. It's just whether they can prove it at the major. I think they are. I mean, they won the 3-peat in Europe. They looked dominant doing so. They have the most expectations on them, the most pressure on them. I think that Karmine Corp, I think if Karmine Corp don't win, I'm not going to call it like an upset, but it will be a failure, in my opinion, if they don't win the major, with how dominant they're looking. An A tier team, let's go with Team Falcons. Team Falcons is definitely a team that is the best team out of best non-NAEU team. I think that they could cause some real damage. I don't think it will be that much of a surprise if they do win. I don't think they're like favourites to win or anything. I don't think there's real much expectation for them to win. But it wouldn't surprise me if they do win. I think they are the team. I think realistically, I think they'll get around top 4. But like I said, I don't think it would surprise me if they won. I think they're a really good team. The Twins and TRK are proven LAN performers as well. I don't think that putting them A tier is lofting them too high either. Let's go to C. I've got Power there. I think Power are a team that... Well, I think Power are a team that won't win. I don't think anyone can see them winning. But I think they're capable of getting a good result. I think they could push for top 8, maybe I'm being a bit generous there, but I think they could push maybe at least for 9 to 11, depending on format. I think Power is the best team OT ascent since, honestly, probably the Open era began. I think that it is a super team for OTE after their dreadful performances last season. I don't know if Pioneers are a super team as well, or built for that intention, but Power is the dominant force, and I think that putting them in D tier would be too disrespectful, because I do think they could find some results. It wouldn't surprise me. B tier, let's go with Raw. Raw are a team that are a little bit disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like people overrated Raw 1 quite a bit at the beginning of the season. People saying that they were the #1 team in MENA, or they could... I just didn't think was the case. I think that Falcons were the clear #1. I think even so, I feel like the defeats in Raw 1 have been a bit more dominant than expected. I know that Regional 1, for example, the scoreline looked bad and it was very close games, but yeah, also we took Falcons to Game 7 in the second regional as well. I think B tier is fine for them. I think that they have an outside chance of winning. I think that the percentages of that are really small, and I think that they'll probably get a top 8. If I had to put my money on it, probably top 8, maybe 9 to 11 if they get a bad unlucky bracket. Okay, we'll go with Elevate. I think they'll a little better than Limitless. I think Elevate, similar to Limitless, honestly they're not the team that everyone expected to be there, so that's a win in itself. But I do think that if they match up against Limitless, maybe they'll get a series win. But anything further than that, I can't really see them doing too much damage, to be honest. And maybe filling out the D tier, we'll go with Pioneers. I mean, OC has given me no reason to really be optimistic about their chances, and Pioneers are a team that have kind of been dominated by power. So once again, I think they'll go 1 and 3 in Swiss. If that's the format, I think that's the format. I think they'll go 1 and 3. I think they'll beat one of these two teams. But that's about it, to be honest. I can't really see them going too much further than that. How about we go with go BDS. BDS are S tier. They are the only team to even really take it to Karmine Corp. We know how dominant they've been. A couple doubts for this team, or maybe one doubt in particular, is mentality. Girardi's first LAN. Will nerds come to play? Probably. But I still think they are one of the favourites, and no one would be shocked if they did win. Monkey Moon is such a good player, one of the top 3, if not top 5 players in the world. Yeah, I think they're clear S tier. I think that Gen G are A tier. I think that Gen G are finding their form at the right time. They finally found a playstyle that seems to work with everyone. First Kid is looking like his old self, and I think that they could. It wouldn't surprise me if they win. I don't think they're favourites by any means. I don't think anyone's predicting them as favourites, but I do think that they can cause some damage, and I think that anything below top 4 would be very disappointing for them, in my opinion. I still got Vitality S tier, which might surprise some people. I think Vitality they're kind of like Gen G, they're kind of finding their form again. I know the grand finals was a bit of a mess at some stages for them, but they're still the former world champs. I think it'd still be slightly disrespectful to put them below S tier for that reason. I still think that they are one of the favourites, and I still think that I still don't think it's as bad as people say. And I can still see them performing really well at LAN, to be honest. I think that, yeah, I still think they're S tier. We're gonna go with OG for B tier. I think that OG are on the up. They performed really well in Regional 2, Regional 3 to even make the major at this point, so that's already a big bonus for them. And I think OG are a team that people that like pro players and coaches rate really highly. I can't remember where, but I think Farah said he rated this OG team quite highly. I know from Rettles' videos he says he rates his OG team quite highly. So I think people rate this OG team quite highly. They respect them, and their performances have backed it up. So I'm going to go B tier. I don't think they'll win. Like I said, I think they have maybe like a 1% chance of winning, but I feel like they can do well. I think maybe top 8 will probably be the spot I'd put them. This is tough now. Right, Furia will go A. Furia kind of dominated Sam. They are looking like their old selves again, and I expect them to I mean, they're the best team other than Falcons in the teams that are not from NAEU. I expect them to do pretty well. I expect them to challenge the likes of those around them, even some of the higher tiers, give them a good game. I expect them to beat OG Rule 1. And yeah, I expect them to do some damage. Okay, where to go with this team? I think G2 are S tier. I think they are the dominant force in NA. I think that these players, I think they're, I think they'll do, well, they're one of the favourites on LAN, that's for sure. They're the only non-European team in S tier, and I think that, like I said, they're one of the favourites. I expect them to challenge for the major win. I don't know if they'll get there, but I think they are one of the few teams, well, I think they're the only non-EU team, I think that the non-EU team that has the best chance of winning the major, should I say. And I think that, yeah, like I said, they're the best team, not from EU, that they've proven that so far. So that will be my that's my S tier done. D tier done. Oh, these teams are very tough to rate. I'm going to go complexity for B tier. I think that complexity are the number 2 team from Sam. They've kind of been owned a bit by Furia. I think that they are. I think complexity aren't as good as last season, unfortunately for them. I don't know if Dorito is a better. He might be a better fit than AJG, but I don't know if he's a better player necessarily. And I still have doubts about Dorito in the big games, in the big moments. I mean, G1 still loops in my head from last season. But I think B is a fair tier for them. I think Gentlemates are A tier. I think that they are the weakest coming out of Europe. As you can see, they're the only non-S tier. I think Gentlemates are very inconsistent. I think they can sometimes just drop the ball a bit in their series. I still think they're good enough for A tier. I think they're unlike OG, opposite to them, they're on the downtrend right now. So I have a little bit of worries for them. However, I still think they're A tier. I still think they've got a decent chance of winning the major if they pop off. I mean, their players, Seiko, Itachi, Juicy, all played well on LAN before. And yeah, I think they'll be just fine. Now, Luminosity are a team that I contemplated putting them C tier. I think that's a bit disrespectful on them. I don't think they're C tier. I'm going to put them B tier. I think that they're not the strongest team coming out of NA. I think they can do some damage though. Absolutely. I think playstyle wise, I think that playstyle will do well on LAN. Of the demo heavy playstyle always is good at making people uncomfortable, especially in a setting that that players are already uncomfortable in. So I think they can definitely do some damage. I think top 8 is one of their maximum. I don't think, I mean, if they win then that will be crazy, but I don't think they'd win. I think that, like all these teams, I think top 8 is probably their ceiling, what I expect them to get. And yeah, I can't really see them doing too much more than that. And that's it for my list. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with my list. What would you change if you don't agree? I'm very interested to see your comments down below, and I'll be interacting with them. By the way, if you could please leave a like on this video, that would really help me out. Subscribe as well. Always does help me out. It's free, it's easy, it's super helpful as well. It gets my videos a little bit more seen as well. Alright, that's it from me. Thank you and goodbye.